Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today we're talking about Rado of Healer. No, we're not. We're talking about Dr. Stone, the Stone Wars Episode 9, or Dr. Stone Season 2, Episode 9. I prefer the later. And this is kind of the end of an era. Everything that's been building up to this moment, this is that episode. And now I'm confused on what's going to happen next. I didn't think that everything was going to get wrapped up so perfectly, only 9 episodes into the season, and we have at least another, what do we have, like 16, 17? Let's do some math. So one more would be 10. Then yeah, so we'll say like 16 episodes left. We're getting 24 altogether. So 15, there we go. There's the number I'm looking for, 15 episodes left. It's also nice because there's a little bit of light left. You know, there's not a lot of light left. I still got to turn on my LEDs. But there's a little bit of light left outside. It's kind of nice. You know, summer's slowly but surely getting here. So we start off this episode with Hoga and Tsukasa, you know, trying to fight everybody, all of the villagers. Genro, Kenro, Magma, Kohaku, all the strong, pretty much all the strongest villagers trying to fight Hoga and fight Tsukasa. And it's not 100% looking in their favor. I mean, Tsukasa took out 3 people in one shot. He took out Genro, Kenro, and Magma all at the same time and all in one hit. Hoga with his crazy spears knocked everybody over. And then it ended up kind of being a revenge battle, which I thought it was going to be Kenro versus Hoga because Kenro was the one that got stabbed. But no, it was actually Kohaku versus, Hoga. And that was pretty interesting because she actually ended up getting the spear away from him. And then I was like, oh, guess what? I have another spear. And I thought that was funny. I was like, but you realize now she has your spear weapon too. So, you know, you're going to be fighting against your own weapon. I would call Kohaku definitely kind of a weapon specialist or battle expert. She is a, certified badass, and rightfully so. In the image I'll probably throw up at some point in time. Meanwhile, while they're doing this, Senku is trying to figure out a way to do something with the nitric acid to make a weapon, and I don't understand why they didn't just pick up all of the powder for gunpowder. It was just on there on the ground. Big whoop, there's a little bit of dirt in it. It's not going to affect it too much making gunpowder. But instead of going for that, he decides to gather all the poop in the cave, because apparently when you mix nitric acid with poop, and it's a certain, I think it was like a pH balance or something in it, and has a certain level of something in it, it allows you to make this kind of white powdery it's either irritating or it's explosive or something. But Senku's luck is terrible. As we've learned in the past, Senku's luck is very terrible. It doesn't work. But Chrome is looking around for something, trying to figure out, what he can use to help Senku and Gen in this urgent time of need, as everyone's trying to defeat Tsukasa and Hoga. And kind of failing at it, I hate to say, even though, they're very much outnumbered, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to matter to them. And he finds the remnants of the sulfuric acid. Senku mentions, he was like, if only we had sulfuric acid, then we could make something really, really explosive with the nitric acid and the sulfuric acid. And Chrome pulls the remnants from the cannon blast. That was basically, the giant Hollywood cannon blast. He pulls that bottle out, and there's still sulfuric acid left in there. So he's able to mix it together in order to create nitroglycerin. And if you're familiar with that, that is the most active ingredient in dynamite, and dynamite goes big boom. Boom, boom, boom. And they're trying to figure out a way how to, obviously, carefully use it against people. And Gen comes up with the idea because they have paper. I think you know where I'm going with this. Paper airplanes. He actually makes paper airplanes, dips them in the nitroglycerin and throws it. And then we get to see Tsukasa and Hoga looking up and watch it explode into the trees. And then we finally get to see Hoga's face. And I understand why he covers his face. I'm sure he's a fine dude, but he looks friggin' creepy with his, de-stone, de-petrification scars all over his mouth. He looks like a friggin' serial killer or somebody terrifying. He almost reminds me of Cutthroat in Akudama Drive, if you're familiar with that show. If you don't know what that show is, highly recommend it. Take a look at my reviews for maybe the first couple episodes. Decide if you want to watch it or not, but great show. And just giant explosion. He looks at it, and then they kind of both realize, if Tsukasa tries to get close to Senku, he'll just smash it and kill everybody in the process. And Senku doesn't really want to kill Tsukasa or anybody anyway. He's not supposed to because of Ukyo's word. And he actually comes back too. Ukyo stands up, so Ukyo's good to go. Looks like he got stabbed in the chest, but we don't know how deep. He's definitely hurt, but he wrapped one of his arrows with paper with a nitroglycerin in it, and he's an excellent shot. So he can shoot people with nitroglycerin-covered arrows and blow everything to hell, which I thought was really interesting. So we kind of get a stalemate, a draw, if you will, and Senku agrees to, negotiate with Tsukasa. Tsukasa, takes it as well, negotiates with Senku. And we find out that Tsukasa actually has a sister. We did not know this before, now we know this now, and that's kind of where the next part of it is going, I think, to a certain extent. And we learn that Tsukasa's sister is unfortunately clinically brain dead, meaning that she's basically a vegetable, is the nice way of putting it. She is gone, not going to come back anytime soon. But then Senku, kind of says, hey, look, I understand that she is gone, but at the same time, it's possible that, depetrifying her will cure her, because Senku got a broken neck from Tsukasa, he got depetrified and was instantly cured, so you would think the same principle would apply to somebody that was possibly clinically brain dead. We don't know unless we try. That's what Senku's getting at, and he said, I will do everything in my power to help her if she is still sick after the petrification process. So we have a temporary truce right now. Anyway, and Tsukasa basically keeps saying he's going to keep believing in his ideas. He was like, what would you do if you were in a situation where if we try to, revive everybody, there's no way the world can sustain itself? Which makes sense, because if everybody's, depetrified, there's no modern civilization, no modern farming, no modern anything, then you can't feed people and everybody's going to start starving to death. So they have to slowly build society up. It's not going to be something where, okay, we're just going to depetrify everybody in one shot, good to go. It is going to be a slow, probably semi-aggravating process to get society back to where it should be. And we don't really know what's going to happen next. We don't know what the next arc is going to be. We kind of end there with Senku making a bulldozer and digging up the spot where the hospital used to be that his sister was in. We also get some of Tsukasa's backstory as well in this episode. That was a big part of it. And we learn that, yes, he's training and fighting because his sister is clinically brain dead. His mom is a drunk. We don't know where his dad is. And he is just trying to get stronger. That's the one thing he can do, because he was trying to bring his sister seashells, and then that guy, beat the crap out of him. That's kind of his whole premise on why he wants to get rid of all the adults and just let the children do their own thing in the natural world. And then he trains himself to get stronger, gets progressively stronger and stronger and stronger, all in order to make big money. So that way he can continue paying his sister's medical bills, which is a very noble thing to do, because he's not really thinking about himself. He's just thinking about becoming stronger because he felt really weak in most of his life. There's nothing he can do. So then he physically got stronger, so he has the ability to fight people, get them out of the way of all of his issues. And then also, save his sister with all the money that he's getting by making all these appearances, doing all of these fights. He's not the type of guy that really wants all this money. That's not what he wants. That's what he doesn't want that for his life anyway, and he doesn't have it anymore anyway. But he's more of a noble person that we learned, and the only reason he's actually doing the money thing is in order to get his sister, try to heal her, basically. As he wants his sister alive, he wants to see her again, and that's why we have a temporary truce. And I think that Tsukasa will be fully won over if depetrifying his sister actually works. He didn't really have a way to get it, because he's not like he had shovels and modern tools or anything. He would have to dig her up with his hands, which if you're trying to deal with bedrock and giant heavy rock, not going to happen. But now we have dynamite to blow the heavy rock out of the way. And Senku even said it doesn't really matter because we can just glue them back together. And Yuzuri was kind of like poking him in the back. And he was like, yeah, but who's going to have to put all those friggin' pieces back together, you SOB? I don't want to do it. But is what it is. We'll see what actually happens. I'm sure we'll depetrify a puzzled, put together human that's all puzzled up. Again, that'll be interesting to see that. I'm giving this episode 9 out of 10. You know, not the best, not the best ending in the world, but this arc is pretty much wrapped up, and there's really nothing more we can do about it, unfortunately. Next episode, I don't know what's going to happen besides we're definitely going to depetrify Tsukasa's sister. But after that, I mean, who the heck knows? There's not really a massive preview to show what happens, but it's kind of like a new beginning. We're basically starting over from scratch. We're going to get a brand new arc for the rest of the season. So I hope it's something good because now we can just continue with, you know, depetrifying people and getting the world back to where it was, and hopefully everybody is agreeable and working together as opposed to fighting each other and trying to kill everybody. Then we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. Let me know what you think is going to happen next in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.